Okay, coming back with example 2. We're going to go ahead and move on with our lives here, folks. Example 2, we have got suppose the relationship between a firm's profit and the number x of items sold can be described by the equation 5x minus 4p equals 1200. And x is going to represent the number of items and p is going to represent the profit. So let's go ahead and get to work on A. For A, I'm going to go ahead and sling the equation in there. We do have 5x minus 4p is equal to 1200. How many units must be produced and sold for them to make a profit of 150? So again, folks, P is the profit. We are going to replace P with 150. So we've got 5x minus 4p. Oops, my bad. P should be replaced with 150. Is equal to 1200. And so again, I'm going to bring in my pal Wolfram. And we're going to get that punched out right there. So 5x minus 4 times 150 is equal to 1200. And so that's 360, it looks like. X is 360. And again, remember, folks, numbers in this class mean something. So that 360, bringing back the question here, how many units must be produced and sold for them to make a profit of 150 bucks? So the answer here is they must sell 360 units. I don't know what it is, toasters or microwave ovens or whatever. They must sell 360 units to make a profit of 150 bucks. Just about ran out of space there. Okay, that's it for part A. Let's go ahead and take a look at part B. Solve this equation for P in terms of X. And so this is a little bit of a trickier one, folks. What I need to get Wolfram to do for me in this case is I'm going to go ahead and put X back in there. And we're actually going I need to put P back in there, not X, my bad. We're going to tell Wolfram, just like we were talking to it, solve that for P. And again, you could do this by hand if you're a person that was a purist. Wolfram is going to do that for us. Again, I'm just trying to show you some of the functionality of Wolfram right here. And so for part B, oh my goodness, my iPad is tripping out. So again, folks, for part B, we've got right here, if we did solve it for P, we would have P is equal to 5 times X minus 240 over 4. And there's probably other multiple ways to write that. Sometimes Wolfram will give us the option to have alternative, there'll be an alternative representation, or I can't think of the specific word, but there'll be a little button here that pops up that we can have it shown alternatively, and I'll bring that up when the instance occurs. So that's how we use Wolfram to do that, folks. We can often talk to Wolfram using regular language to get it to do things for us, and that is pretty helpful. So part C, find the profit when 240 units are sold. And so here we go for part C, folks. I'm going to rewrite the equation. I've got 5x minus 4p is equal to 1200. And again, we need to remember that x is the units sold. And so that's 240 this time. We are going to be putting 240 in for x, not for p, because x is the units sold and we're selling 240 units. So we are going to have 5 times 240 minus 4p is equal to 1200. And again, we bring Wolfram out to play, folks. We're going to have 5 times 240 minus 4p is equal to 1200. And again, we find where the solution it is that alternate forms is what I was mentioning a moment ago. So here in the solution, we see P is equal to 0, and that seems kind of odd. For whatever reason, people think it's strange to end up with an answer of 0 when you're doing math, and it is not strange at all. We talked about this earlier on in sort of the introductory video to this course, and that when profit is 0, that's when we break even. So that means that when they sell 240 items are sold, we break even, or we make no money, but we are also not in debt. Now, the hope would be that if you were to sell 241 items, that then you would start making profit. Sometimes that doesn't happen. We'll talk more about that later in the course. But recognize that all the way up to 240 items, this company will sell 239 items and still be in debt. They still will not have made any money. And so it's important to understand, again, folks, that we have costs in business that must be paid off before we begin to make a profit. So hitting the break-even point is a very big deal. It's very important. And it's something that in business we strive to do. That's going to be it for this video, folks. I'll be back with another.